right. Do I have a show for you today? Or tonight? Or wherever you're listening from. And if you are French and in France, then you are my most valuable listener. Because, well, I shouldn't put it in values like that. No, everybody all are valuable and VIPs to me. But for some reason, France loves my show specifically. I don't know why, but I'm very grateful for that. I didn't know there was so many English-speaking French people in France too. And thank you for listening. You're listening to SASS, Starseeds, Angels, Savant Syndrome, with your host, the Mystic Man. And I'm very mystical. What does that mean? What does it mean to be a mystic? What is a mystic compared to a psychic? Well, you can actually read all about it in a published article online, published in A Philosopher's Stone, the publication on Medium.
JK on the track.
it so much. And that one rap I did, oh, that's beautiful. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are having a lovely day. I'm feeling pretty good. Today's episode is dedicated to astrology. And I guess you could say the blending of science and religion. I'd say once and for all, but denial. Denial is the choice of the individual. I would know that very well. I pretty much am. I mean, we all are, right? That's the nature of it. Is that we are asleep. People talk about being woke and such. But the thing is that we are asleep. We very much are asleep. That's why I don't like to say things like woke or awoken, hashtag woke. I don't like to say that kind of stuff. I like to say we're lucid dreaming, because we're not really awake if we're still here, right? I mean, you can be awake, realize you're in a dream, and you're still dreaming. That doesn't mean you're awoke, It means that you're having a lucid dream once you realize that you're in a dream. And I would say it's the same thing with everything, right? I know that this is about astrology, but let me get on the. Let me build some foundation first, because I think in order for me to explain this stuff, it should be coming from a place of awareness, consciousness, just like the mentality of the thing. So when I grew up, I was a loner. I did not have much friends at all, and I had a very, very, I wouldn't say troubled, but traumatic. Yeah, traumatic upbringing. So I slept a lot, and I loved to sleep. I slept about 13 hours every night, and yeah, I became a very, 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 very good lucid dreamer. Once I realized I could do it, well, I didn't stop. I learned a lot of dynamics when it comes to dreaming and lucid dreaming. One of the most simplest is that whatever you expect to happen, happens. Of course, right? It's your own world there. It's your consciousness. Now, of course, that matters. We can't really say it's our own world, because there's shared lucid dreaming, and I had the experience once a long time ago with my brother, but I've heard that there's been research facilities where people have been able to do that too, which is very cool. Now, so in a dream, right? Now, if you ever had a dream where you're flying, right? You look up, you fly more up. But if you look down, well, you're going to fly more downwards. That's the thing. If you're driving your car, right? You're in the road and you dream, and you look to your left, you're going to sway to the left. And if you look to your right, you're going to sway to the right. That's how it goes, right? This is very much talked about in, what's her name? That one lady who does all those speeches through Abraham Hicks, right? And Esther Hicks, right? They talk about that kind of stuff all the time. I don't hear them mention dreaming too much, which they should. I mean, it's a thing that we can all relate to. Now, the dream world is like that. And in the sense that, like, let's say you're running from something, right? It's a nightmare and you're running from a monster. For me, it was the Terminator, with his metal body. And he's like 0.001 mile an hour walk, right? He's gaining on you. Yeah, I had that. That was my nightmare. I was running from. Come on, Terminator had just come out when I was like really young, so whatever. It was scary, okay, and the graphics were amazing. Well, yeah, for me, well, I was running from him, and I turned around, and there was a bucket of water. Of course, there was, because I watched cartoons. And I thought, okay, yeah, if I throw it on him, he'll short circuit because I knew what that word was, right? But yeah, anyways, I knew sparks would fly from him. And I was like, cool, all right, I did it, and sparks did fly from him. And then I thought to myself, well, what if it didn't work? And then he picked himself back up and started chasing me again. And I was like, oh, no, 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 it did work. And then he broke down again. And then I was like, oh, okay. And that's when I realized. I think I was really young. I was like 6 or something, 7. But I realized that whatever I expected to happen instantly happened. That's how a dream works. Of course, it gets boring when you control everything. For many years, I just had lucid dreams. I do all kinds of stuff. It was my world there. Different time frame. I could do whatever I wanted. I would lay back on the hill. And I'd watch the leaves. I'd look at the sun reflecting off the leaves, and I'd think, like, wow, I can't believe this is a dream. And I'd read. They say you cannot read in your dream. I used to read hella much. Books that I would create from my mind, stories that I'd create, and I'd see that, like, okay, well, if I just look a little bit downwards, the letters aren't even letters, but then they become letters. So your mind makes it all up as you go. It's like freestyling creation, and we kind of do that. That's how it goes. So, in the spiritual realms, we talk about everything as oneness, interconnectivity to everything, right? Now in science, this is fact. This is quantum non-locality. We've seen this many times. We've seen it in electrons, right? When you have 2 electrons and you entangle them, and then you separate the 2, the electrons will react. If you enact one, the other one, no matter how far the distance, will enact the same way if they're entangled. And it doesn't matter, time or space is not a matter. It happens at the exact same time. And this could only happen if there was a point of reference, a 0 point, right? That's where they got the term 0 point energy from. Now that's quantum, right? Now let's go cellular, right? There's many ones actually. There's many experiments about conscious non-locality when it comes to the body and cellular. There was the red light experiment done in San Francisco where what they did was they wanted to measure the amount of time it took for somebody to press a red button, once they see a red light. Simple, right? Yeah. It turned out that on average, no matter how random and you know they tried to trick people up, people would press it half a second faster than is physically possible for the chemical reaction to occur in the brain and then send the electrical chemical impulse through the nervous system to the finger. It was faster. It made no sense, right? But it kind of did, actually, through time when we discovered more science and we understood that the whole body is a electromagnetic field generator, and that's light. That's light. EMF is light. The heart, the mind, or the brain. I mean, even the gut, to an extent, which all of them have neuron cells, sure, different kinds, and I know there's a lot of debate there. But the point being, this happens in all kinds of ways. They've even separated skin cells, taking that into other rooms lined with lead, so there's no electromagnetic field impulse, interfering with the test. Now the cell is still alive in the other room, but they shock the patient, right? Now not only did the cell in the other room react like it got shocked, but electrons came through into the cell out of nowhere. Right? People think, "Whoa, that's impossible," but actually, no. That's actually the basics of nature as we see it. I mean, light itself only comes from the bending of space-time when two electrons collide. So, let's go on with okay. No, let's talk about the way that would come all together. Because, see, the thing is that I've had a lot of arguments with the scientists. Their whole ego thing. Scientists I want to put they're a lot like the vegan movement in that. Well, no, they're not like the vegan movement. They're more like the carnists, right? And but the spiritual in arguing the scientists, they come off a little bit like the vegan. See, the thing is that whenever you have a vegan and a carnist argue, right, nobody wins. Now, this is like hugely obvious. You can see it every time. What happens is the carnist turns into a troll and starts saying, "Oh, I don't care what this that and starts like trying to attack the person instead of sticking on the instance and the topic, right? And this is because nobody listens to blame. Duh, right? Nobody listens to blame. So the goal is to empathize, to invite to empathize. To invite somebody to empathize with you. It's a hard thing if a person's already built up their shell, and if they're expecting the negative impulse from you, then they might just create it. We do this all the time psychologically. And now that's the whole thing. When it comes to anything esoteric, spiritual, whatever, yada yada, you know, we like to think like, oh, there's like secret societies that like do magic and shit, and fucking they're all evil. I don't fucking know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But I have noticed that actually, in every level that I've come to a higher awareness, it's only been from understanding and overcoming and unfolding a denial that I was denying myself. So it was all me in every sense, right? And we like to think like, oh, these whatever the fuck Illuminati, whatever. If they exist, maybe they could be evil. I don't fucking know. But you know what? If they were evil, it would be kind of hypocrisy to the nature of awareness. Because only in a fear-based mentality would you try to be controlling, right? It's like a cat. When a cat falls off a tree, it relaxes. That's how it survives. If you're drowning, you don't thrash about, right? If you just stay still and relax, you float, survive. That's the higher awareness kind of sense, you know. The blame game thing. Well, that's elemental, isn't it? The blame game would come from shame. Now, this is the fun part, and I don't usually get much feedback right here. But if you're listening or catching this later, please, you know, say what your piece is on it. Yeah, argue me on it. I won't attack you. I respect it all. And yeah. So basically, Adam, Adam blamed God. He did. He blamed God before God even came around to, in the Bible, I mean, story-wise speaking. He blamed God before God even came around to talk to him, or at least before he heard the words God said in the Bible story-wise. You see, he had shame, and he covered himself up. Now, to have shame is to automatically believe that you're being judged. Now, we know this in the social media world, right? Because we think that sometimes. We think we're being judged. We think like, oh, this fucker's being this, and it's really like they were just chilling and cool with everything. But we're always trip out and think like, oh no, this fucking tone of voice that I'm hearing in my head. I'm reading this shit, and my own inner voice is saying it to me, and I think that it means this, and he's being a dick because I'm a dick to myself. That's how it goes, right? And it's funny. It's funny because right as soon as that happens, biblically speaking, you can look at time again, through in which point we, as humanity and humans and sinners, blamed God. Now, the first blame of God was that right there, as Adam covered himself in the shame as though God judged him. Now, I would say, of course, God couldn't judge. He couldn't. Let's say somebody judged you, right? Well, if I accept you, that means that I understand and empathize with you better than that person, right? If I empathize with you and I feel for you, then I see you better. I'm more aware of you better. I understand your natures better than somebody who's got the veil of judgment. So by default, if God were to judge, well, then he would not be aware, right? That's the exact opposite of love. That's why we say that God is love, the unconditional love. How does this tie in with astrology? Well, this is the foundation. Because in a reality based on consciousness, psychology, that would be the tool you use. We wouldn't use weight systems and measurement systems. Look at us trying to measure the volume of this and that. Like that's all meaningless. We should be using psychology. I mean, that's the whole thing that blocks us from seeing to begin with. Whenever we're in denial, right? And that's the main aspect that we got to think about. Denial. Because to become aware of anything, well, it's all in you. Right? It's all within. As within, so within. As above, so below. In the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus put it like, he said, if they told you that the kingdom of heaven was in the sky, then the birds would precede you. If they told you that the kingdom of heaven was in the sea, then the fish would precede you. He says, but I tell you that the kingdom of heaven is within and without. And it is, isn't it? Because as we have our inner sense of self and our inner grounding of identity through the feeling, through the thought, and the general awareness, the perception of the reality in the moment, in the now, well, that's how it gets the future. That's how we move in action towards the future. This would be the Holy Trinity. Now, you'd have the God. God would be that unconditional love, immutable, right? Cannot change. Cannot. I can't remember the exact word that I think it was Catholicists used, but I was talking to an amazing English gentleman a couple weeks back. Whew, he schooled me on all of it. But basically, yeah. So God has that single point that I am, right? Now the sun looking out into the void would not know it's the sun without something to reflect it back, right? It would not see light, it would see darkness. That would suck. I know it sucks because I've had a near-death experience. I like to say it wasn't even near-death because I died. I died to me. I spent fucking an eternity in limbo, in the dark. It sucked ass until I looked within and I saw that I was the light. And I felt love. And I remembered everything as soon as I did. As soon as I felt that light and I reached for it, everything came back to me. You know, all my memories of myself and who I am and what a thing is and what an object is and what how to breathe and everything. In any case, that would be a very good way to empathize with that nature of it. In Madame Blavatsky's translation of the Tibetan stanzas of Xian, it's a lot like the Hawaiian Kumulipo. They're both pretty much Genesis stories, you know. And both of them, they talk about it with more emphasis on the beginning being in the void, in the dark, the foreverness. You know, the foreverness, that would be that zero, that divine feminine. The zero even looks like a vagina. Wrong. The one even looks like a fucking penis. The one is a penis. It's got the balls and everything. This is an explicit show, by the way. I marked that shit. If you're underage, get the fuck out of here. Explicit. I'm gonna play my rap later. That's hella explicit too. Anyways, the one, come on, it's got the fucking head. Look at that shit. It's got the curve. It's the dick. You get the divine feminine, the divine masculine. Right? In tarot, the major arcana, that would be the Fool card. And the mage card always symbolized by a man holding a big metal rod in his right hand, willpower. Rah! And that same Ra is the Aries, it's the first sign of the zodiac. Now that's what it is that the signs of the zodiac are the same thing as numerology. They're the same thing as tarot, the major arcana. It's the story of nature, of life, of everything around you, and you and your life too. And all of us, we live in it, we live through it, and it is everywhere you look. Because there's the zero, the infinite. I like to call it love, but of course it feels like darkness and emptiness when you're in the womb, actually getting fed nutrients from your mom, right? But yeah. And that's basically what love is too. If you feel it, because when we have that heartbreak and we miss somebody, isn't there that pulling, right? That pulling, that sharp feeling that just, it's like gravity. And such as love. Love is a emotional law of nature. I like to look at psychology as exactly like that. When it comes to psychology, certain things are universal. Now, so we have Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. The baby. Representing the first house of I am, which is existence. It's the I exist, and that's what every sense of the fire sign is like. It's like, I exist, rah! Like a baby. It don't give a fuck about nothing else. It doesn't even understand the concepts of the other else. It just is, relishing in its existence. When it wants something, it says it. When it feels something, it shows it. There's complete, honest truth in that I am sense. Now we all have every sign. I should mention that because we are the all, right? And we go through the lessons of all the signs in our lives. But some things we gravitate towards more than others because of perspective, perspectivity. And that's just what it's all about, isn't it? Now, the way that we do astrology is that whenever you discovered a planet, you would look at the essences and natures of the things around you. You would see, oh, okay, this time in history, it taught us that this was going on, so that's what that thing represents up in the sky. That seems ridiculous, right? It seems stupid. It seems uh, really, really moronic. No, actually, it's pretty brilliant. Actually, when it comes to that's how the mind works. That's how neurons connect. And if this is a consciousness-based reality, then that would kind of make sense. Actually, that would make sense out of everything. Synchronicity. As a thing is like a thing, it's like a thing. Well, you know. Now, since I'm a journalist, as well as like everything else, I know, right? Yeah. As a journalist, I'd like to say that this is why citation is so important. That's why they say source, source everything. Motherfucking everybody should be sourcing everything. Duh. If it don't lead back to source, then that shit ain't true. I mean, maybe it fucking is, but you know what? I mean, you better fucking look and find a damn link because I mean, ain't that what we're trying to do? Is get back to source, right? You know. And so, yeah, I mean, sometimes a lot of people just talk out their ass. Um, I like to. Sorry, I got fucking trash day going on over here. I live in the ghetto. There's been 8 murders since I've been here, but it's a cool. I like this place. Just San Jose in general. There's so much people and there's so much to do. Yeah, but you see it all. You live somewhere, anywhere long enough, and it's boring. You don't give a fuck anymore. I don't. I don't. This city's giving me all that I can take from it. In any case, so let's get on to yeah, okay, so after Aries, the I am, right? The individual self, the existence of just being in the in the moment. There is no concept of memory. You'd have no sense of memory at all, because there's nothing to associate anything with yet. But through time, you would learn. You would learn. Oh, I like mommy's milk. Oh, I like watching the funny box thing TV thingy. Oh, I don't like when the dog barks. That's loud and annoying. I don't like the dog barking. No. Value. You learn the values and the sensualities of your environment. This will become Taurus, number two. That's why the number two in numerology is associated with value. And just in general in life, whenever you have the number two, you can use it as a kind of magical association thing. Because as you think it, as you make the conscious choice and association, well, it would align you to manifest those things. So you do whatever in the sense of twos. That's why whenever I put anything like, and I know it's not good, but microwave, I always put 222. Get money. And yes, since I've done it, yeah, I've been making a lot more money. It's cool. Anyways, right. So that's Taurus, the bull, 2 horns, patience. You see, Aries has no patience. Aries is the challenger. It's rah, 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 it wants everything in the now. Taurus learned to be patient. They learned to be patient because as it was in that duality spectrum of the I am, looking at the void, realizing that there is two different oppositions, the yin yang, the sun and the void. Well, there'd be that dance. The dance happens, and it could go on forever, as it does sometimes, until both realize something. A funny thing. This is where the Holy Trinity comes into place. This is why they say, and this is why I say, irony is the face of God. And this is why I mentioned earlier that it takes two electrons colliding to create the break in space-time where photons come out. Every photon comes from this. Is that the yin and yang will dance forever until they stop to realize that they are not opposites. They are actually exactly the same. Irony. And that's a miracle, right? In every sense of it. Whenever you see something that's a miracle, there's always that funny irony. That's why God's got a sense of humor, right? Jesus walked on the water during the storm. He was sleeping. He was napping during the storm. But, let him sleep. But, and then everybody was freaking out so badly. And he got up and he was like, what the fuck you guys freaking out about? And he went and standed on the water. He was like, come on, it's chill. That's funny as hell, and that's ironic. Now, what about the water and the wine? They're in the desert. They kind of need the water more than something that's going to make them more thirsty. That's funny as fuck. But Jesus is like, hey, you know what? Fuck everybody. Let's get drunk. Yeah, that's how it works. Because there's always that balance ever since the beginning. God came in and he said, I'm going to take my samurai sword and I'm going to go whoosh. And what happened? He separated the waters from above and the waters from below, and he called the in-between the firmament, and he called the firmament heaven. Separated the land from the sky, and the sea from the land, and all the animals, whatever, whatnot. That's what we blame on him, at least. That's what we say he did, because we don't want to look at how we fucking have the duality spectrum. Ever since we had that fruit from the tree of knowledge of good versus evil, which is actually Libra. Yep, that's the tree, and that's what Libra's all about. The second sign of light, not air, light. As the whole light thing would come from Gemini, the first sign of light. Well, now what is Gemini? Gemini, you have the symbol of two men mirroring each other. There's no duality there. It's not a man and a woman. They are two exactly same men mirroring each other. This is what it is. Because as you have an electron, which is inherently exactly the same as every single other electron, besides the spin of their quark. They're exactly the same, and as they come together close enough to realize and see each other, will it bend space-time. And light emerges. Bam! Awareness as a photon. That photon creating that reality as we know it. This spectrum, dimensional form, 3D, 4D, and onward. Yeah. Gemini is not... See, I hate how everybody always says Gemini is a two-faced. That's just a fucking projection. Everybody's just so full of their fucking duality bullshit. That's not even true. Now, you telling them that, they're gonna fucking believe that shit. And then they're gonna fucking go around thinking that that's them. And then they're gonna live it out and play it out. Don't do that shit. I hate when people do that shit. Some of the worst, painful things in my life have been where other people imposed a thing that said that I was supposed to be suffering from it. And so I believed them because, I mean, we listen to the motherfuckers around us. Not to mention the subconscious has no filter, so it's going to listen anyways, right? Careful, like, what you listen to from others. A lot of the rules and things that people believe are not true at all. They're complete fucking bullshit. And everybody is hypocritical in the ways that they believe in. Let's take one for instance. The way that we treat homeless people and drug addicts, right? Now, the irony is that I can't remember what the study was done. I think it was like I got the link somewhere. I'll drop it in the comments later or something. Well, what they figured out after doing a lot of scientific studies of some country had a huge heroin addiction problem. A lot of people were dying. I think more than 50 or 60% of the population. That's fucking crazy. But what they found out was that the root cause of addiction is lack of connection. Any kind of addiction, whether it's gambling, food, cutting yourself. Lack of connection. Now, it's ironic, isn't it? As we see somebody cutting themselves, we say, "Oh, they're just, shouting, crying out for help. Ignore them." Or somebody that's on drugs, we say, "Oh, don't fuck with them. Oh yeah, they're gonna fucking this, that." Which, of course, I mean, if you treat somebody fucked up enough, they're gonna fuck you over, yeah. But the irony is that you can cure it all. You're connecting with them, give them love. What Jesus did. Jesus did that. He showed this. He showed how love, no matter what, is the right thing to do. And it cures people. Having faith in people, too. That's a huge one. Everybody around is all tripping, all scared, cowards and shit. Blaming everybody for this and that. Nobody thinks to give grace as a, grace in interpretation. That was a quote from somebody else that I'll have to pull a link from. But yeah, you have to give grace in your interpretation of things. Because as we blame something as evil, we think it is evil. And if you remember what I was saying at the beginning of the show, the thing with nightmares and such, looking to the left and you swerve to the left while driving. Or if you're flying in a dream, you look up, you'll fly up. You look down, you're gonna fly down. You're gonna blame somebody for something and accuse them of something or lack faith in them. Well, you might just pull that into existence from out of them. Now, if you have faith in them and you see God in them, well, then they can do miracles. They can be the miracle. And you, in doing that, you would be the miracle because nobody else is fucking having faith in each other. You could be the miracle for others. That's fucking beautiful. Jesus died showing everybody how it is weak to blame. Everybody blames. That is for the weak. It is weak to hate and spite. That is for the weak. That's what the weak do. It's hard to love while being blamed. It's hard to love while being attacked. It's hard to take that hate and take that blame and give love back. That's strength. That's power. And that's why Jesus really died on the cross, to teach everybody that. Nobody seems to have noticed. I mean, I noticed. You? We push it aside and say, "Oh, yeah, no, he did that, so some magical reason and law and word." Yeah, he also said that we could be like him, we would do as him, and greater. And I say it only is going to happen if we step up to take that responsibility. Because you only have the power and abilities and capabilities to the level of responsibility that you step up to take. Yeah, that said, I know I've said this again and again, it's kind of like a broken record, but, I think I'm getting better at saying it. Sometimes I find myself that, things kind of creep up from the past to, help me out. Things that I've already made, well, about the end of the show. Much love. You guys have a good one. It's the oldest story in the book, Ancient. JK on the track. The oldest story in the tablets. Said it again. Scripture said, it's gonna be said again. Oldest story in the
Nobody was listening to all.
Tell it like it's simple, yeah, it never really was. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That's right. Big turtle in the sky. Look at the moon, look like a rave dance time. Get it how I live it. Get it how I live it. Said it just the way I meant it. Said it just the way I meant it. Elephant in the room said, bitch. Ask too many questions. Say it again. I get it how I live it. Said it just the way I meant it. Elephant in the room said, bitch. Ask too many questions. Ain't that funny? Yeah, LOL. Projection is a motherfucker demon. Dimension. Yeah, I'm a lips, man. Prophesize, damn promise. It's crazy. Like the fate. Wow. Done battle of Jackson in the 80s. I don't give a fuck. I ain't done shit. If I wanna take a number back, give me the box. It is like grinding as fuck. You never happens with me grinding. The pyramids. Your whole history shot. Find the transcriptions of me old blazing spot. Right up top. That's right, third eye. Right up top. Right up top. Climb up top. Very top. Yeah, climb all the way. Climb. Last train. My batches. That's my spot. I tell it like it's like a simple bottle of heme up there too. Something like a simple one and never really was. Never. Something like a simple. Something like a simple. Like a simple. Something like a simple. It was simple. As if it was simple. It was a damn motherfucker. Something like a simple. I really do this thing. Something like a simple. Yeah, no, I don't give a fuck. Tell me like it is for now. You know I know what's up. Steady flipping hustle. Hella body rebel. Flashing lights behind me, yeah. Anything but subtle. I'm chewing bubble gum. You can ask. Karate kick deadly for your ass. Starlight, she's a motherfucker. Swaggy is a motherfucker. Damn, alright. OG Egyptian motherfucker. Egyptian.
Maintaining your lawn the right way this fall starts with Lowe's, because Lowe's has the grass seed and fertilizer perfect for your growing area, and the know-how to help you do it right. And at great savings, like up to $15 off select Scott's grass seed. And save $5 on a 12.5-pound bag of Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard Fall Lawn Food, now $14.97. For all your fall projects, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Valid through 10/2. Selection and availability vary by location, U.S. only.
They will find you.